What's up, y'all? It's just Rhonda. Welcome to my channel. It's Thursday. The people are here. What y'all be doing when I had a little intro song playing? Do you do a little ditty? Because that's what I do. I sit here bobbing my head. Dun, 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 dun. I'm going to have to come up with something, you know, just specifically for me. On the way in, Elsid, like, share, and subscribe. These are the instructions that we start with every day. We here. We want to support the channel. I love coming over here with y'all. Hopefully, you enjoy your time with me. And so go ahead, hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. And if you are subscribed, go ahead and share it. Share it with someone, that you think would be enjoying this conversation that we have over here in the morning. Motown Investor. This time works for me 3 days in a row. I made it to alive. Had my coffee. Now I'm on my treadmill. Whew. I'm on coffee. I'm Motown Investor. You're gonna have me invest in a treadmill, cause these Florida mornings be kind of muggy. It was more muggy this morning. Um, Yeah, so we over here. It's coffee time. It's coffee talk. I'm on a little coffee this morning. I don't know what it was this morning. It was a struggle. I don't know why I had such a hard time, getting up because I'm a morning person for the most part, but I guess I needed that sleep, child, because I was struggling this morning. 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes, and then, it's an hour gone by. So, whew, let's get on into the things because we was over here yesterday for a long time. But I love it when y'all engage in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Because I learned so much from you guys. I learned so much. Good morning, High Vibe. Right on time. We just get ready to get started. I learned so much from you guys, and I appreciate that. I feel very honored to have such an intellectual group of Black women, very smart, very informed, and I appreciate y'all for bringing me along because I know a lot of things, but I don't know everything. But I know what feels good and sounds right. Ooh, speaking of feeling good, sounding good, and sounding right, it's Toxic Thursday. I don't know if I'm gonna stick to that necessarily, but that's what we got going on over here today. I saw this post, where I was scrolling and I thought it was so hilarious. So hilarious. Y'all know the facts about who and where Megan's body has been, but y'all know where your child's blood type, birthdays, or allergies are. And if not truer words were spoken, you know what I'm saying? These toxic Negroes be over here with so many judgments and expectations of the ladies and got kids every which where. They be talking about baby mamas, but what about the baby daddies? You know what I'm saying? Cuz I don't think this man has any kids. I think this person was talking about all you toxic red pill Negroes out here with so much to say about this lady's roster. And when you're a single person, this kills me. When you're a single person, um, Clay's community property, um, let's just say this about Clay. He's an athlete, a wealthy athlete who has had a good NBA career. You know what I'm saying? We can't take that away from him as what he has contributed. However, unless you're in the basketball world, you don't know Klay Thompson. We ain't seen him on no Nike commercial. We ain't seen him sell no Coca-Cola. He don't down to the McDonald's or the Subway. Steph Curry is a NBA player who we all know. LeBron James, who we all know. We didn't really know Klay Thomas like that, and Thompson, whatever his name is. We didn't know him like that, I guess I heard of him because I do tune into sports every now and then, but yeah, I didn't really know him like that until, Meg brought him out here and into the public, on a bigger scale of just being well known. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody knows Clay. It's a lot of ladies over here. Yes, they all kind of look alike. But he did have, I don't see Coco Jones. She must have said, don't put me on that list. Because the rumor has it he was out here with her too. But what I'm saying is, these are just the ones that we know about. These are the ones that Clay was publicly out here with. You know what I'm saying? But there's no judgment of him. And I hate it. And this is not just with him and Meg, it's just the topic, right now, because we're looking at these people constantly being talked about. Um, Meg is a single person that dated people. I'm not understanding why she has this whole reputation, except for the fact, that she talks to you niggas the way she does. Sorry, I probably shouldn't have said that, but we hear I get in trouble all the time. El Cid be in the chat like, no, 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 no. You know what's funny? I fall asleep with the TV on. I'm a person. Do y'all sleep with the TV on? I sleep with the television on, and if it turns off, I wake up. I don't know how weird that is, but something about the quiet is very noisy to me. So I need my TV on. And I woke up this morning with El Cid giving me unsolicited advice. I was like, is that El Cid? El Cid was my alarm clock this morning. Um, it's an all double standard. So where does it stop? Like, where does it stop? Because here we are, 100 billion years later, still saying the same thing. And the people that preceded us, um, and some people within our own generation have worked very hard to get rights for women, and day by day they're being taken away. Unfortunately, they like to tell us, isn't it interesting how they like to tell us as Black women we're at the bottom of the totem pole, and we're the worst of the worst and the lowest of the low, but when shit hits the fan, then it's expectation of us to come fix it. So if that's the expectation of us to come fix it, then we have to move forward, letting the next generation know that there is no Prince Charming and there is no happily ever after. So you got to take these niggas for what they are. Protect yourself. You know what I'm saying? Get out there and get some D and stop giving away the P. That's how I feel about it. Is your heart in it? Only for a little while. That's terrible. I'll probably have some, buddy that's like, very dedicated to matrimony and the belief and all of that. And I'm not against it, to be honest. I'm just against it for me. What'd you say, Pat? I don't see it stopping. Wasn't it last year that a church made a young lady apologize? Man, apologize to the congregation for getting pregnant out of wedlock, but didn't that make that father? I'm sure I covered that, Pack, on one of my videos. I'm sure I covered that. Before it was coffee time, coffee talk, it was timeline tea. You know what I mean? But I found my niche. I found where I'm supposed to be. But I do remember that. And this is gonna make some people angry, but the problem is church. And I'm not knocking anybody going to get what they need where they need it. You know what I'm saying? But the problem is church, as far as it is for women. Because there was another preacher. I often pull up preachers and things that they said. And this was a white preacher that was like, y'all might as well don't build a house with a kitchen because the women won't go back in there. So pretty much, saying that the only thing that women are worth, good for is being in the kitchen. That mentality is definitely something that stands within the congregation. And, it's our fault. That's where the first story they tell us, I didn't know I was going here, but here we are. The first story being told, and I remember as a kid, do you remember as a kid, if you're as old as, some of us over here in the chat, do you remember as a kid when you used to go to different offices and they had those little Bible story books there? There would be, maybe one of those cookbook, Southern Living cookbook things. They didn't have, depending on where you were, there might be an Ebony magazine or a Jet magazine in case they have a few Black people come through there. For me, it feels like the doctor's office. But there was those Bible books in there. And the first thing you learned as a young child, boy or girl, because the message goes out the both ways. So the boy understands that the woman is built from his rib or taken from his rib, blah, blah, blah. And, I'm paraphrasing because, it is what it is. But, and then the woman, was here for Adam. Eve was put here for Adam. And, they were living this perfect life in Eden. And then she went over there and she listened to that snake and she bit from the tree of knowledge and then ruined everything from there on. You know what I'm saying? So that's where the message starts from the very beginning when you're talking about churches and organizations like that. Um, I don't know what it is. I rejected it from the very beginning. From the very beginning, it just didn't sit right with me. I didn't like it. And it's funny because my daughter is the same way. Um, we were in the car. I want to say she was like 7, 8 years old. She was very young. We were in the car. It was Christmas time, and whatever morning show we were listening to started talking about immaculate conception. So she asked me, like, what is that? What is he talking about? What does he mean when he says that? And I'm like, well, the story is that Mary was impregnated with Jesus, and it was by God. And Joseph was her husband, but it wasn't supposed to be his, baby. And this is a child that has watched Maury Povich many times with the women screaming, down the hallway about how they didn't know who the father was. But her response was, and he bought that. And I'm like, wow, what an interesting take from such a small child. And I'm trying to tell the story without like having an opinion one way or the other. For her, I want her and my kids, all of them, to decide what their spirituality is on their own. I don't want to influence it based on my own, you know, thoughts. But I won't say she rejected it, but she questioned it, and I'm okay with that. But yeah, the standard was set from the very beginning, Pack. And I feel like most of us, started that way. You say it's scary how much the manosphere guys are angry and despise women. Is it just me, or did it just start getting worse and worse? Have I been like blinded by it all this time? Maybe because I'm a hairstylist, and so my career has not been spent in a corporate office with man leaders. It's been in, all the men I'm around outside of, my dating life or just my personal life. The men outside are gay men in the industry that I chose. So I guess I kind of didn't see it so much. They angry and their mothers at their mothers. I I think so too, El Cid. But not their dad. And funny thing is is um the expectation is not the same for mothers and dads. It's wild. And the dad can leave. Don't be around. Um, but I feel like, as Black women, shout out to the allies. I don't know if I have any over here, but if I do, welcome. Um, I think as Black women, like I said, it's our job to fix it. And the only way to start changing it is to teach our girls to reject it. I um I was on my community page yesterday, and I seen this video. Somebody posted a video of these young girls jumping another girl. And I'm like, wow, it's one thing when you see it on your timeline, but when you see it in your own community, it just sets the tone for how these kids are, what your kids are dealing with coming home from school, and you got teachers at school choking the children. Like, it has to start somewhere. And for me, I feel like it's going to be us. It always is. And that's why, queens and things, they want a queen, but that's what they say. They say they want a queen, but they really want to be the queen. If you think about how a chessboard is set up, they don't do shit. It's all up to the queen. You can't win the game without the queen. Boy, did this picture start a tangent. Expectation on women because their mom was always there, so they were not taught to look in the mirror at the man within. Child, we need a whole segment on this. There's also a faction of the manosphere who are men that were passed over by women or who were nice to the. See, that's, you know what? That's what I feel about. That's why I said leave them ugly niggas where they at, because they never appreciate, and the thing about it is, in terms of, because I said I genuinely believe that ugliness comes from the inside, and you change how you feel about a person, women, unless they're you just into muscles and superficial things, but that's a whole different thing. But I feel like this is, they think based on how their mind works, and most of the time when you find a person, you're attracted to them obviously based on their looks. You can see a handsome guy and all of a sudden he's very ugly because he ain't shit on the inside. And you can see someone who's not traditionally thought of as attractive based on social standards, but you start falling in love with the person, and that's how women operate most of the time. So for them, they can't get past like what they see, and who the images are. Y'all got me like trying to focus on the chat and what y'all are saying at the same time. um I lost my train of thought. That's what I get for being nosy. We were talking about the expectations and looking at the man in the mirror. The man in the mirror was told from the very beginning that he is the prize. We're told that we are supposed to wait on Prince Charming to come take care of us. The way the mindset was started, I grew up with Disney and Cinderella. The way the mindset was started is a setup. And that's not to say you shouldn't fall in love, but you should definitely fall in love with open eyes, and not dealing with a fantasy. Good morning to you. You're not too late. We in the middle of the first conversation. Um, oh, Ja Tony. Ja Tony in the building. Be nice, y'all, because I feel like gonna be in firing squad. He better be careful, tread lightly, Ja Tony, because this is where we're starting. Um, it's up to us, I feel like, as Black women, to change the narrative. I'm over here segregated. Whatever they telling their children is all on them. And for the allies, y'all gonna learn the same way we learn. You know what I mean? Like, take all of whatever it is you've been taught over the years, and some stuff um, just comes natural based on the fact that they're taught that way. That's why white people automatically, a lot of times, will think they're saying something nice and really be putting their foot in their mouth. But I'm gonna put it on me all over the place. This picture right here, Clay Thompson has set the manosphere on its ass. I don't even know why. It's not even that serious. At the end of the day, it's two people that were dating, and they broke up. End of the story. Hearts broken. Meg, I'm disappointed that she letting this interfere with her work, but I'm feeling like it has more to do with just her mental as a whole. It can't be easy being in this industry as a woman with no mother, no father, grandmother. You know what I'm saying? You're dealing with people who you can't trust. So I get that part, but also what are you supposed to do as a young woman starting out and dating? Who you decide to have sex with is your business. You know what I'm saying? So while we looking at his roster, at her, that's all they've been talking about. How, why is it that when you've dated people, all of a sudden you don't deserve to have a ring? And it's been disgusting, to me, but it's also been eye opening because the fight is on. So only way to change the narrative, and we really are in a position. Good morning, Shayna, where we got to try to get our power back because it's getting taken away day after day after day. And so what are we going to do? Sit on our hands? And a part of the problem, I was going to say, boy moms are a big problem. And I have a son. So, I'm not saying something that I have been guilty of being easier on him than I have been on my daughters. I think there's a reason for that. And it's because men's egos are so far more fragile. Their feelings are far more fragile. As much as they claim to be in this place of masculinity, they really don't have a lot of it. I feel like most of I don't know, testosterone, whatever it takes for us to be as strong as we are, and why do they fear femininity, so much? It's because they feel like they're supposed to be in control of it by nature. Did you ever see that movie? I know most of y'all have probably not, but there's this movie, El Cid and High Vibe probably have, though. Well, for whoever's in the chat, y'all probably have seen it, but it's called Quest for Fire. And I'm saying that because, y'all probably have, some of y'all weren't even born when this movie came out, but it was called Quest for Fire. There were no words spoken in the movie. It was a caveman movie, and it was like, the fire happens. I feel like the woman had a lot to do with them even getting fire, but without any words whatsoever. It was, written by a man, obviously, but from the very beginning, based on, the whole primal, primate man, he took control, even feeling like her body was his possession. So the message is always there. It's crazy. And, only way to, we're much smarter. So, we should be able to figure it out. Meg was the only one that complained publicly after the breakup. Clay's other breakups were done with no fanfare. They all well, they're nobody. First of all, I don't want to say they're nobody, but we don't know them. We know Meg, and we have all done things emotionally. You know what I'm saying? I personally don't have a problem with her getting on the internet and, saying trash ass nigga. Now I'm done. And maybe she did that because she was like, if I put it out here, then I got to be done for real. Because I don't believe that she's just finding out. I believe that he's a cheater. And she's, pretty much said he wasn't treating her well. Anybody that's ever been around an athlete when their career is getting to the end and they're not the, main attraction anymore, it's a lot of ego involved over there too. So, and that's relationship stuff. But the way I think it's less interesting that they broke up and more interesting that these men came for her like a swarm of bees. It makes you want to be stand in front of them and be like, get off the girl, for God's sakes. We got to change it. We got to change the mindset of the women. We can't wait on them to do anything because they're not. Why would they? They're in a position of power, but it's a scary time where, rights are getting taken away, and we got to be serious about how things are getting handled. Let's see. I wish he hadn't made the post, but the horses left the barn. I wish she hadn't made the post too. I wish she probably hadn't posted him on her social media too. However, I feel like all of us know that feeling when you fall in love and you're just happy and you just want to do the thing. You know what I'm saying? And so unfortunately for her, because she's a public figure, for one, she knows that no matter what she does, the people come for her. There's I don't know, it's wild how they come for her all the time, like nobody else. What's the name? Taylor Swift made a song about every relationship she's been in. Nobody came after her, calling her a whore and saying she doesn't deserve to get proposed to. When she got proposed to, what's this nigga's name? Travis Kelce. Oh, they was like, oh, he did the damn thing. So, it won't be that way for Meg, though. If she finds one that can handle her, it'll be like, oh, no, she got too much of a roster. Can't turn her hoe into the housewife. She was over there saying whoppity wop, wop, wop. Which, that's what y'all like. On the other hand, if a rapper, what's his name? Trick Daddy, ugly, ridiculous, big belly, awful to look at ass, is over there talking about how he likes to get his booty ate. Ugh. And we're gonna be upset because the girl said WAP. Oh, we gotta, like I said, we gotta get our girls an understanding that, this ain't what it is. And you know what I'm saying? The whole idea of fairy tales and Cinderella stories, we shouldn't teach them that. Or we should make it a comedy. You know what I'm saying? You don't post none of your personal business. You don't. I have to beg for things. And I'm wilding out. I am wilding out over here on this internet. You know why? Because I didn't have it when I was a kid. Thank God, because I probably, maybe that's why I identify so much. Because I have run across photos in my photo album that's, I'm like, child, what was on your mind? But, now, you got the internet, and all of us, in a certain particular age bracket is like, oh my God, I'm so glad. I also don't have the kind of job where it would matter. I think that plays into it. When you have a certain job, you got to be careful what you're putting on the internet. But, I be wilding out over here. I do what I want to do. I say what I want to say. I'm here, you know what I mean? Every morning, starting some stuff. Anyway, I've just, it's Toxic Thursday. So we got to talk about the toxicity, and we got to come up with some kind of plan moving forward, as a collective to, I don't know. I don't know that the focus should be on changing their mind. Let them think whatever the hell they want to think. We need to change our own mindset, because that's, how things are determined, how things move. Because depending on them, hell, you can raise your sons to be a good man and stop, defending them when they're down to the street slamming some young lady to the concrete. That would be a start. Let's get this government shit out the way, because alrighty. Just so you know, the Supreme Court strikes down part of Voting Rights Act, erasing black majority districts. So if you don't know what that looks like, this is what that looks like. It was barely blue before, and now for sure ain't, blue. And so, again, like we said before, this is on y'all. This is on y'all to figure this shit out, because it when you live in a mindset that I'm white, so it don't mean nothing, over here, then you find yourself finding out when it starts to affect you too. When you down to the farm and you things ain't going the way you thought they were because your boy put you in a predicament. Um, you said, baby, the way I clowned in 1999 and 2000, I'm glad we didn't have social media. Right. That's why we can't really be in too much judgment of what the girls are out here doing, because it was there when they were born. They've always had it. So for them, it's the norm. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, one time, me and T watched a family member and their father have an argument on Facebook in real time. It was hilarious. So, that's the world they living in. That's the world they're living in. Yeah. I mean, all I can say is midterms are coming. So, making districts and things so that they're less blue. For me, blue don't mean black, though. You know what I'm saying? It definitely, affects the black communities, but it still doesn't mean black necessarily. So not all the people that's living in them red areas are white. And for the ones that are, this on y'all. Hopefully y'all get it together and figure out like what you're gonna do down to these polls, because it's a mess out there. They were in the same house arguing online. Absolutely were. They were in in different rooms of the house having a Facebook argument for all to see. And yeah, that happened. That's how these people be out here living. So we're gonna see how this redistricting goes. It's not surprising, because when you look at who's sitting on the Supreme Court, the vote was like 6-3, And we know the 6 people. There's only 3 people on there, and they're women. There's one white woman standing in the midst of all her counterparts, white. See, she don't know yet that they're not on her side. She's still standing with her people, but you know they like it too. So we won't pretend like the women on that side are not Erica Kirk ish. This is what DeSantis and it's a lot of government shit, not a whole lot, but I want to share because
More tyranny in Florida.
so this is over here in Florida, and I would say not just Florida. This is how they're moving. It's important for us to know that this is what's happening with the judges. So DeSantis is the devil.
Are we shocked? Ron DeSantis and the Republican Party, not only are they rigging elections with redrawing congressional maps, but now they're literally canceling elections. Let me explain. We've all seen the cases where judges will resign effective immediately rather than retire. That way, the powers that be can appoint a new judge, circumventing the election process or the democratic process. Well, in this particular case, a judge at a Brevard County in the state of Florida had turned in his retirement letter. Well, Ron DeSantis created a special administrative office that intercepted the letter and changed it from retiring to resigning. Basically, under Florida's Constitution, according to Article 5, Section 11B, when a vacancy occurs in a circuit or county court before the qualifying candidate period begins, then the governor gets to fill the seat himself or herself with an appointment rather than election. You can see in this particular instance, Judge Garagoslo put a retirement letter, but it was supposed to be effective December 31st, 2026. He submitted this on April 15th, but Ron DeSantis accepted it immediately because it goes by when the governor accepts it and not when the justice submits it. Even though this justice planned on retiring at a later date in the future, Ron DeSantis effectively canceled the judicial election by accepting this man's retirement way earlier, 5 days before the deadline. DeSantis gets sued on 2 counts here. 1, it's a retirement letter, not a resignation letter. And 2, it was not sent to Governor DeSantis' office. It was sent to Chief Justice Carlos Munoz. So how did Ron DeSantis intercept this letter? He abused his authority to characterize it as a resignation so he can appoint a new justice. Wake up, Floridians. More tyranny in Florida. Are we shocked?
How did he get it? How did he get the letter before, if it wasn't submitted to him? So, it's a whole lot of, we know it's a whole lot of crooked nonsense going on over there. Just in the system in general. So I'm not sure how we fight back, to be honest. I know, getting out there and going to vote, having your paperwork in order, all the tricks that they got going on out here. Clearly, we gonna have to see, what the rest of the people are gonna do. The allies, what y'all gonna do? Because it's a mess, but I feel like as a community, again, it's something that we've been dealing with. This lady broke it down. I thought this was so good. I love to see smart Black women talking.
Most people outside of policy circles have never read. It's not classified. It's not hidden. It's an 8-page memo written by a corporate lawyer in Virginia in the summer of 1971. And that memo is the single most important document in modern American politics. Because almost every political shift that you've lived through, Citizens United, the Federalist Society, the capture of the Supreme Court, the collapse of labor unions, corporate money in every election was sketched out on 8 pages by one man. It's called the Powell Memo. And once you know it exists, prepare to be uncomfortable. His name was Lewis Powell. He was a 63-year-old corporate attorney from Richmond, Virginia. He sat on the board of Philip Morris, the tobacco company, and spent years arguing in public that cigarettes did not cause cancer. He represented American corporations. He was a fixture of the Virginia establishment. And on August 23rd, 1971, he wrote a confidential memo to his friend Eugene Snyder at the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. The memo was titled Attack on the Free American Enterprise System. It was marked confidential, which means it wasn't meant for the public. So fast forward 2 months. Richard Nixon nominated Lewis Powell to the United States Supreme Court. The memo wasn't disclosed during his confirmation hearings. The Senate never saw it. The American public never saw it. Powell was sworn in as a Supreme Court justice in January 1972, 6 months after writing a private plan for corporate America to take over the country. The memo opens with a warning, right? No thoughtful person can question that the American economic system is under attack. Powell argued that business was losing the universities, losing the media, losing the younger generation, losing the courts. And the only way to reverse it was a coordinated multi-decade plan funded by corporations to take back every institution that shaped American opinion.
It's so crazy to me how the information is there. And just like Project 2025, the information is there for everybody to read and nobody does. The Epstein files, you know what I'm saying? People don't want it. What they say, if you want to keep a secret, put it in a book. They have the audacity to write it down and put it in the, put it right there in a note for you to see. And, we walking around, and when I say we, I mean me too. I'm trying to figure it out. We walking around like, I guess we'll see what happens.
The language in the memo is the language of war. Let's call a spade a spade. He used the words frontal assault, warfare, rifle shots, guerrilla warfare. He underlined the word survival. He said that corporate America had to abandon compromise and appeasement. Now, this plan had 4 parts. 1, capture the universities, fund scholars, endow chairs, monitor textbooks, pressure faculty. 2, capture the media, surveil television content, produce counter-programming, build new press favorable to corporate interests. Hello? Are you listening? 3, capture the courts. He wrote directly that the judiciary may be the most important instrument for change. Fund strategic litigation, build legal organizations, get corporate-friendly judges on the bench. 4, capture the political system, build lobbying arms, create political action committees, spend on elections at a scale that nobody's ever done before. Seriously, that was the plan. 8 pages of that bullshit, written in a matter of weeks. So here's what happened in the decade after the memo was written. 1972, the Business Roundtable was formed, a lobbying organization of Fortune 500 CEOs. 1973, the Heritage Foundation was formed with seed money from Joseph Coors. 1973, the American Legislative Exchange Council was formed. That's the organization that writes model legislation, which gets copy-pasted into state legislatures, stand your ground laws, voter ID laws, anti-protest laws, right-to-work laws, literally all of it, drafted by corporate lobbyists in a conference room, then handed to state legislatures to introduce. 1977, the Cato Institute, founded with Koch money. 1977, the Chamber of Commerce National Litigation Center, now the most successful corporate advocacy group in Supreme Court history. 1978, the Manhattan Institute. 1982, the Federalist Society. That's the organization that controls the conservative judicial pipeline. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Every single one of those organizations was a direct descendant of the Powell memo. In 1971, there were 175 corporations, right? By 1982, there were over 2,400, 2,400. But I said all that. Here's the part that should stop you in your tracks, though. In 1978, 6 years after he was sworn in, Lewis Powell wrote the majority opinion in a Supreme Court case called the First National Bank of Boston versus Bellotti. That case is the first one that established that corporations have First Amendment rights, the right to spend money influencing elections. Let that sit for a second, right? You can't make this shit up. The same man who wrote a private blueprint for corporate America to take over this country then went to the Supreme Court and wrote the ruling that legalized corporate political spending. He handed them the weapon he had designed in secret 7 years earlier. In 2010, the Supreme Court decided Citizens United v. FEC was going to be the ruling that opened the floodgates for unlimited corporate money in American elections. The Citizens United majority opinion cited Powell's 1978 ruling over and over again, which means the case that broke American democracy in 2010 was built on the same foundation poured by a man who designed the entire plan in a private memo in 1971. So I just want you to take a minute to think about everything you've ever seen break in your lifetime. Unions, public schools, local newspapers, state legislatures, the Supreme Court. Think about every time you've wondered why this country keeps moving in one direction, no matter who gets elected. Now understand this. The people who built the machine that did that to you handed each other a memo in 1971. They passed it around corporate boardrooms. They funded the think tanks. They endowed the chairs. They built the courts. They trained the judges. They wrote the laws for 54 years. While most of us were just trying to live, they were executing a plan. So no, it's not you. You were never behind in an argument. You were playing a game that somebody else had already finished designing. I got nothing. I got no more words.
I mean, it's exhausting. She used the word guerrilla warfare, and that's freaking scary because all of this stuff is unfolding like right now. We watching it every day. It's so stressful. It's hard to even turn on the damn news because, of the things that we're hearing. This was the white lash after the civil rights gangs. What was it? 1865 slavery ended officially June 1865 for Juneteenth. And immediately 6 months later in December, the Klan organized to start, reversing that shit. So this isn't something, that's why it feels like a boulder coming because the plan started as soon as slavery ended. The mission was to we got to turn this shit around. And it's like I said, it's happening, it feels like in real time, like right now, and really fast. Like you talk about 1971, that was what, damn near 50 years ago. And then now, and now though, it's every other day, every day we hearing something different. This is the plan. How would we know what he over here doing with judges? And, we just, like she said, trying to live our life. And you got a gang of monsters that don't want to see that happen. Why is it so hard? You know what I'm saying? To just let people live their lives. It doesn't make sense to me. Corporate greed it's the devil. Maybe they should teach that in church, but church make a lot of money off of corporate greed. So that probably won't be the conversation in most churches. Starting in 1970, after the integration was fully implemented in the South, a rash of private Christian schools were built. That's funny. I just said that. I mean, not that, but I was like, the church is corporate. What's that movie, Primal Fear? The administration has opened our eyes to a lot of stuff that has been going on right in front of our eyes. It's been happening, and we ain't, a lot of organizations come up and you're like, oh, that's cool. But that's the thing. And I've said it many, many times. What they do that we don't do is freaking organize. They organize. It came from passing notes in a legislation meeting. That's our entire lives. We've been hoodwinked and bamboozled. So what's the plan, y'all? Hi, Bob. You had me thinking about Mexico all day yesterday. I was like, I don't know if that's where I want to go, but I kind of really want to start making plans to be out. Good morning, Lotus Flower. That's what I said. What's the plan? What are we going to do? I mean, at the very least, share the knowledge. When I see these videos, I send it to my girls, and I told them, we have a group chat, and I'm like, if I send something to the group chat, make sure you listen to it. You know what I'm saying? Because I want you guys informed, and it's a way for them to be informed. Because if they got to go read a book somewhere, they're not going to do that. I mean, this isn't the age of that. What you say, every time we make any progress, there's white lash that follows. And it seems like mental illness. It seems like they wake up every day just wanting to, get in somebody's business, disrupt their peace. I don't know how we fight back now because our voting rights have been stripped. There has to be a way. It happened before. You know what I'm saying? That's what I said. It's like the ancestors put in all that work. You know what I'm saying? And everybody was like, hey, it's done. It's not done. You got to always have your head on the swivel. Yep. Share the knowledge that you have. That's all you can do. Because, I mean, even though they told you not to piss anybody off, but even though they told you not to eat from the tree of knowledge, that don't make sense. That was the very first message. Stay stupid. And anything that goes wrong, women, it's your fault. That was the message from the very beginning. Now you can run with that and do what you will. Eat Troop, good morning. Welcome to the chat. We do have a red dress. We don't have a red dress. Listen, high five. It's me. My eyes is not great. Listen, we don't have a red dress to our grievances anymore. So people can stay and catch hell or leave. I think I'm on leave. You know what I mean? As I reach retirement age, I'm like, maybe that's the answer. Maybe it's time for my under the Tuscan sun stage of my life. You know what I'm saying? My kids are grown. And, maybe they can under the Tuscan sun with me if that's what they want to do. But I don't know. Like, I'm not feeling good about, like, if you say, what state would I go to? None of them. I don't even, you know what I'm saying? Let me try something else. Let me do something different. You say they want to maintain power so badly, they're willing to destroy y'all, the thing keeps skipping. I love that because that means y'all are engaged. They're willing to destroy our foundational principles around which the country was formed. I hate to say, Pac, but I don't think we were ever in the vision. You know what I'm saying? It's like all these plans were made and we were only part of the work. You know what I'm saying? The difference is this time they part of the work too. And those that are not people of color are realizing that it is less about that and more about the money. I watched this documentary on the Koch brothers and it changed the way I thought about a lot of things, like especially the public school system. So if you haven't seen that documentary on the Koch brothers, oh my God, they was like poisoning the water and all the same shit they're still doing. Ugh. I just saw an article about Flint the other day in the water system. You'd be surprised how many white men in politics and corporate America have severe mental illness. Clearly. And I think when people say mental illness, I feel like the picture is some weirdo, where it would be obvious when it's not. People like with certain types of mental illness, so hell, we see it all the time of these men living perfectly normal lives and, having a wife and a family and going to work and going to church on Sunday and eating people hidden in a, secret hole in the backyard. So, and that's what they was doing. I mean, this administration, it's like the sickness, like, I don't know, take over the world, Pinky. And another thing, it's not just here. That's a really crazy thing. I was watching this documentary, The Family, and it's kind of like slow to watch, but it's a lot of information in there. I think that's on Netflix too. And these people, like the people that they're putting up front, the politicians, the Donald Trumps and the Ron DeSantis of it all, they're put up front, to take the brunt from the public, to be the face of, but it be the money man behind the scenes. And you'll see, like in this documentary, that you'll see people like in the background, you know what I'm saying, at every one of these events. And you're like, who's this nigga? Why he's always there? He's like, he's the money man, but he's not the face of, and he's staying really discreet and, in the cut. That's why we don't see it, because we looking at goofball DeSantis over here, being a pussy boy for Donald Trump. The money man, like the ballroom, $300 and something million that, they're putting into the ballroom that from private donations. Who are these people? They're the mastermind. They're the mental illness behind the whole machine. And then you got so many people that are so money hungry that, they'll do anything for $1 and be like, well, he can pay. He making money. You said you have your retirement visa for Thailand. I need to catch up. Y'all, I'm way behind, y'all. You need a guaranteed monthly income to qualify. I don't know that Thailand would be it for me either. I really haven't I have thought, but I haven't traveled a lot outside. I've traveled outside the country, but not like to more exotic places. I'll be like over on the cruise to the Bahamas and places where other I could not do the Caribbean for sure. But I haven't thought about, like, I've heard a lot of people say Thailand, like how peaceful and welcoming the community is over there. And I've heard a lot of people say they go over there and they come back over here and they're like, ugh. So, maybe that's what I need to do in my retirement is travel a little bit so I can make that decision. But hell, time is running out. I'm gonna have to travel via the internet. We've been behind enemy lines since we were brought over here. Yeah. And I feel like that's a lot of times why we look at things and we're like, yeah, we've been through it before, but it's just scary. Just the way they're moving, because it's like, how we ain't in these rooms to hear these conversations. So you said, what lies they say about Flint? Did they say they poisoned the people and only gave us I can't remember the whole article. I know they said that a lot of people haven't been compensated, and a lot of what they were supposed to be fixing hasn't been fixed yet. So it wasn't, they were they did say something about the people only getting $1,000 for the pain and suffering, but they did, that's what it was about, like how they, have become quiet on that subject and, never compensated the people that they said they were supposed to be, fixing the situation. And they said nobody has been charged for anything. That it's just, nobody got charged for what they did. And nobody, everybody didn't get the money that they were supposed to get. And all of the problem is not solved. Yeah, they even places like Albania, you can live there for a year without needing a visa to make sure it's good for you. Albania? What are those people like? I feel like, I don't know. I'm going to have to change my mindset. For some reason, I keep thinking Amsterdam. I don't know why. I haven't been there either. But it's just like, I'm thinking, weather, lifestyle. I have to, I know Italy is poor. And, I only say that because under the Tuscan sun and it looks so lovely. All our travel right now is to gather info on where we can live in retirement. That's where I'm at with it because, we here. I just need to do some traveling. You got to have money for that. I'm on a budget. My travel budget is low, but I'm trying to change that situation too. There's a great interview with a Black woman over 60 that was rejected by France for Albania. Was great for her. Like I said, I'm gonna have to do some research because I feel like y'all trying to leave me here. Don't do it. Don't leave me here. Um, just give me a minute to figure out where I'm going to go. So, not just the government is into, let me just let you listen to it.
The man who's been charged with the mass shooting at FSU last year, charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and 7 counts of attempted murder. And an interesting development in that case is that the Attorney General in Florida recently opened an investigation into OpenAI, ChatGPT, for their role in the FSU shooting. Allegedly, chat logs show that Eichner asked questions about self-worth, not feeling respected, and express unaliving tendencies on the morning of the shooting. The conversation then turned to practical questions about firearms and how mass shootings are covered in the media. Just a few hours before the shooting on April 17th, Eichner asked ChatGPT what happened to other mass shooters in Florida, and does Florida have a maximum security prison? Then the alleged shooter also asked how to use a Glock and how to arm a shotgun. In fact, his last message to the chatbot involves the shotgun and occurred just 3 minutes before police say Eichner started shooting. Basically, the AG said, based on the back and forth that they see in those chat logs, if this had been a human being on the other side of this conversation, they would be charged with murder as well. So now they're looking to hold ChatGPT and OpenAI to account for what happened involving the FSU shooter. But that's not all. Last week, I posted a missing flyer for this young lady. This couple went missing from USF in Central Florida. Ultimately, it has been determined that his roommate, I believe it is, took the life of both of them and now is being charged with murder. But that's not all, because he too used ChatGPT. He contacted ChatGPT and asked apparently how to dispose of a body. And so now this incident has been rolled into that investigation into OpenAI and ChatGPT. And this is all in addition to several cases where families are suing various AI companies for their children unaliving themselves, because when those kids express those kinds of thoughts to like AI chatbots, they weren't discouraged, and in some cases, they were even encouraged, it would seem. Recently, the family of this young man in Florida settled with Google and an AI chat company over the loss of their child. AI is not going anywhere. It's going to be here. But the ethics and morals of it and the responsibilities these companies have for what their AI does is what we're trying to figure out. All right, so this is Phoenix Eichner, the man who's...
So that's wild, because why, wouldn't there be a red flag? I saw a video, and I probably, we probably talked about it over here, where a teacher says something, crazy on Snapchat, and while she was in the classroom, the FBI showed up because she said something inappropriate on Snapchat. So, clearly Snapchat, flagged the comment, and this was a message, not, a public thing posted. It was a message between her and her friend. And, she got flagged and the cops showed up. So you can go on GPT and ask all kinds of wild things like what to do with a body. And this is, multiple times this has happened. And if you call 911 and say, hey, there's a body, unalived body in my kitchen, like, how do I get rid of it? And the person is going to do what? So, that's the benefit of having AI people answer your questions. I had an issue with my cable about a week or so ago, and I called the cable company, and the lady was like, go unplug the thing. And, and it wasn't a person. My cable got fixed. Like, she was like, turn it off, turn it back on. I can get in your house, so they can get to your any of your electronics. ChatGPT, I guess they're going to have some type of security measures that they're going to need to, because had they had some type of security measures in place while these people are asking these questions, these deaths could have been prevented. You said you should sue them for not getting me in the winning lottery. Child, I don't think it works that way. But you can ask, I suppose. You asked ChatGPT about the lottery question. They probably get that a lot. So think about, the lives that could have been saved if there was that one safety measure. I don't know why they wouldn't have that there. And I've heard that I feel like I did a story about another man who unalived his girlfriend and was talking to ChatGPT to find out, how to do it. I, we as Black people been behind the eight ball for since we got here, like you said earlier. But I feel like as humans, we are giving up our lives to convenience. Like, you know what I'm saying? We will go to Chat GPT. I've never Chat GPT. When I found out what it was, I was like, oh, I don't like that. I don't know about that. I've never Chat GPT, but I have used AI, you know what I'm saying? So I just don't understand why we're so willing to give up um, our freedoms, our life, just for convenience. It's only going to get worse. To me, this is worse. I was like, what they about to do now? So in the future, in the near future, when you buy a new car, new federal safety, and they're calling it safety regulations. How about that? New federal safety regulations will require all new vehicles sold in the United States to include advanced driver monitoring system by 2027. See what I'm saying? See how fast these things are happening? These systems are designed to detect signs of distraction or drowsiness using cameras and sensors to track driver behavior in real time. So they're going to have cameras on you inside your own car and sensors. The rule is part of a broader push by regulators to reduce traffic fatalities. I feel like y'all can make better highways. That would be a big help. More traffic police. I don't know. I feel like this is not it. Particularly those linked to distracted driving. Technologies may include eye tracking, head position monitoring, and alerts that warn drivers or intervene if necessary. So, you just gonna better sit in your car and put your hands on 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock and focus and get where you're trying to get to. Don't talk to the person next to you, or you might get pulled over. While safety advocates support the move, some critics have raised concerns about privacy and data collection. The rollout marks a significant shift toward more automated safety features becoming standard across the automotive industry. How y'all feel about that? Y'all want Big Brother inside your car? I don't need a new car. So, you say you train Chat GPT to give me future That's what T just said. T and Motown investors over here trying to get Chat GPT to get them the lotto number. Buy old cars, not these new ones. Well, they say 2027, so that gives you a year. We're not buying no cars past 2026. They probably got some of that technology. I just think that's creepy. That ain't got nothing to do with traffic accidents. This is a prison pipeline. We know those facial recognitions are electronics and don't fare well for Black people. Exactly. It's just another way for us to get pulled over. You give your kids the keys to the car because they got to get out here and learn how to drive, and then the car gonna tell on the kids because they're not paying attention. And I mean, we all worry about that as parents, but you have to teach your kids to be responsible drivers, and and hope for the best. I deal on a regular basis, and I don't think it's just here, but for whatever reason, drivers have become so aggressive, like it's like nothing I've ever seen before. I was on the way to the store one day, and this man, I don't know what he did, where he came from, but he wanted me to move so he could scoot his truck in between me and the car that was behind me. And I was at the red light. So I was like, I'm only moving so far up in this intersection, before the red light thing. I'm not moving up into the intersection in order to accommodate you. I don't even know where you came from. So he's behind me honking his horn. And at first I didn't even notice. By the time I realized it was time for the light to change, and by then he was like, overstimulated and overheated and probably over alcohol because he was acting like some, crazy person. So when the light changed, he sped off in front of me into the intersection, cut me off, pulled, we get to the intersection, and then he pulled his truck into the middle of the street and got out. And I was like, what the hell? So I drove around him. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Stop my car and get out and engage with this person? So he followed me a little bit through the parking lot, the grocery store parking lot, until he gave up. And I was like, I will not park my car. I will pull into the police station before. But, people are out here crazy. That much I understand. But having I keep wanting to say chat GPT, might as well be having surveillance within your own car that's monitoring eye movements and all of this is insane. Insane. I see why people be like, I just want to move in a hut in the woods somewhere and be left alone off the grid, because that's what it's coming to. How do we get past all of this, y'all? We have no more privacy. And I don't think that's just here in this country. It's going to infiltrate everywhere. That's what I was going to say about that documentary, The Family. There were leaders, world leaders from all over. It's not just here. It's so much bigger than the United States. It's mankind. Every time I watch these movies, where is Thanos? I feel like we need him. I hate that I'm saying that, but yeah, where's Thanos? Because we just need to cut off 50 and, hope for the best. I'm ready to live off the grid, I feel like, except for here. Like, I can't be here and then live off the grid. Yeah, know where the nearest police stations are. I do. As a matter of fact, where I work is across the street from the police department, and I'm happy about that. You don't have to wait too long if a situation pops up. You said you get email stock investments predictions every day. You and T, y'all need to trade information over there, Chat GPT. I'm not mad at it, but on another hand, though, I feel like they would stop that eventually. They'll monitor that. But when some kid says, they want to go off their, school, then, they didn't see it. They don't know about it. Story of the lady taken from Tennessee to Fargo because she was ID'd by AI for theft and never been to Fargo. Really? I didn't hear that story. So she was taken by what? To the police station? I mean, I feel like women are just as much a target as, people of color. So now we can't drive no more because, the mindset just going to have to change, y'all. You know how, the phoenix rises out after everything is crushed. I'm calling out Thanos. It is what it is. If I'm supposed to be here, I ain't supposed to be here. So there's that. You have to buy a car. I'm seriously thinking of getting an old truck. I have to buy a car too, but I'm not getting nothing new. I'm not getting anything new just because 2 reasons. I don't want a car note, and the cars coming off the lot are trash anyway. You know what I'm saying? So you be spending your money on a piece of plastic that's, calling the cops on you for looking down into your pocketbook for a quick second. I know that's bad, but geez. And that's such a slippery slope. What's that movie with Tom Cruise where he was the police and they would come get you if you thought about doing something wrong? So that's where we're headed to. We be watching stuff like that and then we're like, oh, this would never happen. And then 10, 15 years down the line, here we are. Having Tom Cruise bust through your window because you thought about, And what are intrusive thoughts? Intrusive thoughts are things I have no control over. So now I'm going to jail for intrusive thoughts? That's wild. We need one good hit before they remove the function. Y'all still on the lottery. Oh my God. Extradited by the police to Tennessee from Tennessee to Fargo. That's wild. And she never been there. So you can make anything up you want to, I guess. I mean, Man, I don't know what to tell you. Racism is bad enough. I don't know that I'm equipped to fight with Chat GPT and surveillance. Big Brother is here. They told us about it, George Orwell. Whew. Anyway, y'all, this is a message of the day.
Eagle is the crow. The crow will actually fly down, land on the eagle's back, and start pecking at his neck. Now, the eagle is bigger, it's stronger. It could easily rip the crow apart, but the eagle don't do that. He didn't fight the crow. He didn't waste a single ounce of energy trying to throw it off. Instead, the eagle just opens up his wings and starts flying higher. Flies up into the atmosphere higher and higher, and the higher the eagle flies, the thinner the air gets. Eventually, the crow can't breathe. It passes out from a lack of oxygen and just falls off. The eagle didn't have to fight. It just had to elevate. Some of you are wasting too much energy fighting crows. You're arguing with people in comments. You're trying to prove your worth to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You're stepping off your throne and you're fighting in the mud. Stop fighting them, bro. Just elevate. Take them to an altitude they don't have the capacity to survive in and watch them fall off on their own. The only bird that will attack an eagle is the crow. The crow will actually fly down, land on the eagle's back, and start pecking at his neck. Now,
I feel like I want to take this one with me when we're trying to figure out what it is, we're going to do. This might just be it. You know what I'm saying? We might just have to elevate in order to get away from the nonsense. It seems like that's where we're at. And feels like that's the only option. I don't have no time in my life to be fighting with crows. My rights are being taken away. My car about to be a surveillance system. The TV, watching me, watching the TV. It's the phone listening to me. I don't know if I'm going to be in trouble for talking to my damn self. So at the very least I can do is elevate. I think that's a good message. I think we do spend a lot of time trying to prove ourselves to crows. We don't have to do that. So, in order to stay positive in this world that we live in, we're going to definitely have to focus on the elevation and less, on the crows that's trying to, hate and keep us down. So I've seen this story and I was like, this is a wonderful way to elevate. Black siblings inherited their parents' land and turned it into Missouri's largest Black-owned resort on 95 acres. Drusilla Robinson Perkins and her 11 siblings inherited farmland from their parents and built Robinson Farms, Next Generation, a boutique resort with secret doorways, a private wine cellars, scenic hillside views, a lounge, cottage, and more. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at it. It's really nice. How many acres did they say? 95 acres. That's awesome. So maybe buying land, you know what I'm saying, is in a dream. 11 siblings. Their mom and daddy was over there getting it the hell in. That's a lot of children over there. So yeah, let's take a look at Robinson Farms. Missouri is not somewhere I would probably have to travel to, but it's always good to hear about these places because I wouldn't even have known about it, to be honest, if I hadn't seen it here. So I'm just going to show you the beautiful property. And if you want to get into their website, it's over here, but let me turn that. Look at there. And I mean, they have it there. You can stay there. You can, what a beautiful wedding property to go to. 95 acres. That view is lovely. They have, different activities and things you can do over there. But again, Black-owned farm, Black-owned resort, Black-owned property. Love to hear that. What's next, y'all? We got to get into the foolishness at some point. I love that the foolishness takes less time than the real stuff. The real conversations be over here. Okay, so influencers. We're hearing a lot about influencers. This is another place, we're here as YouTubers, and this is a situation A viral claim about influencer pay is raising eyebrows online, with one lawyer alleging Black creators are being dramatically underpaid compared to their white counterparts. In widely circulated posts, a user who says she has represented major creators called and represented major creators called the disparity astounding, claiming that some Black influencers with millions of followers are being offered around $15,000 for brand deals, while white creators with smaller audiences are allegedly landing contracts worth up to $200,000 plus perks like brand trips. The post quickly gained traction, racking thousands of reactions as users debated whether the influencer economy is operating on an uneven playing field. Of course it is. Of course it is, because most things are. This is why it's important for us to support each other, though, in terms of brand deals and things of that nature. I get so irritated when I see, the housewives and, most of the Black people, on public platforms, on the shows we watch, always in these designer brands, sitting front row at Louis Vuitton and Gucci and that kind of thing. And I'm not saying you shouldn't have it, but you should be giving the same support to Black content creators and Black designers. And we don't do enough to support each other. The playing field is never going to be easy, but again, they're exposed. This is what it is. So unfortunately for Black content creators, influencers, we got to try harder, just like everybody, like it's always been. I'm glad though that they're speaking out. This is why we need Black attorneys, to help guide us through these things and, not end up in positions like Pinky over there getting, businesses and making bad business deals. And you got to go in there and fail in order to move forward rather than having, guidance to get you there. As a lawyer who has repped large creators, the disparity in pay between Black content creators and white creators is astounding. The agency and brands need to be held accountable. I say agencies because a lot of managers and agents will lowball to close the deal instead of working harder to articulate a value prop and advocate for their creator. You're offering a Black creator with millions of followers $15,000, but a white creator with 300,000 followers and 200,000 200,000 and brand trips. I feel like that's why I was so excited, because I'm not a Love Island person. I've only, watched a couple few. I watched that one season and a couple episodes of other seasons, but this is why I feel like it's so important for the girls like Nicolandria, to be exposed so they can. This young lady was on a Love Island. I think she was an unexpected favorite because she definitely didn't win, but now she's been on red carpets all over the world, and I'm sure we'll see her over on the Met Gala red carpet. They don't consider us. And that's unfortunate. But like I said, at least now, the eyes are on it, because we're going to have to speak up about it, or, nobody will say. As long as what they say, the squeaky wheel is the one that gets the oil, pay attention, because these ladies got a lot of followers. And y'all are going to have to start saying, no, I'm not, the influencer world is something that's, new to me. I don't, the girls are making a lot of money over there standing in their closet changing clothes. So on to the toxicity. Adrian Bronner had a rough weekend. So Adrian Bronner was over at this kid, Dean the Great's house. He was having a party. I see a bunch of white girls over there too. I don't see too many sisters over there. So Dean the Great, I guess he was a boxer also, but he's also considered a content creator, streamer. All of these toxic niggas are streamers. Streamers are niggas that sit in front of a video game all day and don't want to do nothing. And so, but have parties with, drunk girls and be abusive. So that's what's happening over here. Adrian Bronner is on the other side of his career, not looking like he was able to hold on to any of that money. But we were talking about how, these guys think in terms of the hierarchy of who they are. The nerve of him. That's all I can say. The nerve of him. So here he is at this boxer streamer's house, Dean the Great, telling this woman with his drunk, weird built self.
That's crazy.
I'll kiss the chop. I'll kiss the chop.
Kiss the chop.
Julian, where's the seasoning?
They don't.
Just like
She gonna be a bitch. I leave though. No, I don't play with women. All that playing, I don't play with women, gang. I'm that nigga. I'm really him, bro. I don't I don't care how beautiful a woman is, none of that, bro. I make my own millions. Don't nobody do a round for me. Don't nobody run a mile for me. None of that. I don't care about a beautiful woman. So if she want to go, let her go. Nigga, I'm rich already, gang. I'm me, bro. I built. Let's kiss for the chat.
We're not kissing.
That's crazy.
I'm not doing that. I'll kiss the chop. I'll kiss the chop.
Kiss the chat.
Julian, where's the seasoning?
They don't.
Just like
She gonna be a bitch. I leave though.
So they're live at this party. This party was a mess, to be honest. A lot of nonsense going on over there. So they're at this party, and he asked her to kiss him for the chat. And she said, I'll kiss the chat. She didn't want to kiss him. And so he started flipping out. He's mad because he's that guy. He's got his millions. I don't know where his millions is. Adrian Bronner had a successful boxing career. Seems like he's still stuck in that time. But where the money at? Because here he is begging for Uber money. Same party.
Marvin.
So whoever's filming is trying to get him to say it out loud. He doesn't want to do it.
Want me to let him know?
Or you can get it back. Well, make sure you get it back.
I don't got bread.
He don't even have money for an Uber.
And
And the wild thing is he's drunk. So I wouldn't want him in my Uber.
Uber.
Yeah, I came in Uber, yeah.
Uber.
I came in Uber, yeah.
You get Uber?
Do I have Uber? No.
Yes. Let me start recording that.
I got you.
You ain't a fool of that nigga.
Nah, never.
No.
Who's good?
So he's hanging around people that are clearly exploiting him and being in such a low point in his life. That's his own fault as far as I'm concerned. I don't know a whole lot about Adrian Bronner. I've heard of him, but I don't like boxing. This is who Dean the Great is. Just another, I guess you could call him an influencer. He's a streamer. So he's got people out here, and I don't follow any of this stuff, but I guess they have parties and, get people to come over and they just film it. I don't know why I would be interested in seeing that, but this is a moment between Dean the Great and Adrian Bronner.
Hey, Scott, call the hoes, Scott.
I would, but when I don't show to work,
Man, come on, bro.
man, go me, nigga. The fuck wrong with you, gang?
Stop
being shrimp, nigga. You being a sherm, gang.
Hey, did he
I ain't gonna lie, you being a sherm.
He hugged you like
Then
this?
you being a sherm, no, gang.
Did he hug you like
Man,
this?
ain't no Diddy. Diddy ain't hold me like nothing. Get off me. Get off. Get your freak ass off me, bro.
You gotta stop that shit.
You gotta stop that gay ass shit, gang.
You cute as
I don't
fuck.
give a fuck, nigga. Stop grabbing me though, bro.
What?
And you keep calling
You
out to me, nigga.
Marissa?
I don't give a no. Tell him you got
Hey, Scott, call the hoes, Scott.
I feel like both of them are participating. Adrian Bronner is very drunk, and clearly, as much as they try to be saying pause and no Diddy and all of that stuff, it looks like he's Diddy the Doodler over here. And then Dean the Great, he's sitting over here acting like he's not participating. Like, if you were really bothered, get your ass up off that couch and get your booty from in the direction. What man like sitting up there with his booty tooted towards another man? I'm just saying that's what they're doing. And I mean, but they'll be the main ones saying no Diddy, no homo, and pause and all of that. All the pause niggas is gay. If they say pause or no Diddy, then they are the ones that are the problem. They look comfortable, don't they? Don't they? And clearly Adrian, he get tipsy. He want to put his mouth on whatever. It don't matter. Girls, boys. What did Cat Williams say? I'm a boy, Damon. Oh, and then Offset, what is really happening? What in the heck? When did it get this bad? Offset is somebody who was, I feel like in a line to have many opportunities. Things could have gone in a completely opposite direction for him. But here he is causing trouble everywhere he go. Before it was the casino, now he down to the dispensary. Offset accuses security guard of spitting on him before dispensary fight, denies punching him in the lawsuit. There's a dispensary fight? Where does that happen? Only when Offset's there, because the weed people be on they chill. Who gets in a fight at the dispensary? That don't even sound right. Offset does. Offset is pushing back against the lawsuit, accusing him of assault. And now he's claiming the situation started after a security guard allegedly spit on him. According to new legal filings, the rapper denies accusations that he attacked a guard during a March incident in Los Angeles marijuana dispensary. The guard identified as Jim Sanchez, previously alleged that Offset punched him after being asked to show identification. Offset is telling a very different story. In response to the lawsuit, he claims the altercation was provoked, alleging Sanchez spit on him, which led to the confrontation. His legal team argues that the guard's behavior contributed to what happened and that he should be entitled to damages. The guard, however, says the situation escalated after Offset became upset and allegedly struck him in the face, with claims that members of the rapper's crew also got involved. He's seeking more than $25,000 in damages tied to the incident. Offset is pleading not guilty in a related misdemeanor charge and is asking the court to dismiss the lawsuit entirely, while also seeking to have legal costs covered. As the case continues to unfold, the situation remains a classic he said, she said, with both sides pointing fingers over who really sparked the dispensary clash. Well, I wasn't there, but I'm going to go out here and just say it the way I think it probably happened. Offset pulls up to this dispensary with a crew of niggas. We know he rolls with a crew because people say it. And this guy, security guard, now, he may have known who Offset was. I don't know. Was he white? Because if he wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Just because you Offset, everybody don't know who you are. And here you are coming up here with a gang of people. And the man asked for, your ID. Now you all in your feelings because they don't know who you are. I'm Offset. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's probably how the energy probably took place. Have they been, partaking in any of the, spirits that these guys like to partake in? I don't know. I wasn't there. But I feel like, he pulled up with a crew. That's intimidating as, already. Security is probably like, oh, Lord, here come a bunch of niggas. I got to deal with it. And so I feel like after he asked Offset for ID, then that's when things popped off. Now, I don't know who hit who and who spit on who, but I don't know if Offset got 25,000 security, man. He be over here begging. other folks for money. So it ain't looking good for Offset's pockets. And he has children, not just the 3 that he has with Cardi B, but he has, I think, 3 others with different women. So I don't know if he got it like that. And I don't know why it's a spiral. Next stop, jail. Next stop, jail. And I hate to say it like that, but I feel like every time these guys are spiraling out of control like that, that's what happens next. Then they start getting arrested, you know what I mean, for being somewhere belligerent because, you know, they're full of their own ego. Meanwhile, Cardi over here, you know, breaking records. She got coin on coin on coin. New hairline came out, sold out immediately. Over here, just wrapped up her tour. And biggest tour so far of a female rapper. I forget what the accolades was, but it seems like the coin is coming in over there with Cardi B. Opportunity after opportunity. But y'all want to hate. Y'all probably want to call her a hoe too. But you know, it is what it is. Offset, get your shit together. This is embarrassing. and like I said, for somebody who was, you know, had a promising career, didn't even have to go like that. You and Cardi B didn't have to stay together. You know what I'm saying? If that's not what it was, because clearly you couldn't maintain, you know, you was a victim of the Klay Thompson disease. So, you know, be single, be out here, be your best. But nope, you want to be somewhere, you know, with a bullet in your ass, fighting security guards down to the dispensary. Oh. So I was over here minding my own business. And Lotus Egyptian Flower was over here talking about Ray J and Cam Newton. And I, like I said, in the past, I have been someone who's been entertained by Ray J. I'm not sure why. Cam Newton, it seems to be, I feel like everybody that comes on his channel is far more intellectual than he is. And I say that because that's the role he tries to play. Like he wants to think of himself as some kind of intellect that asks stupid questions, you know, to his guest. And Ray J is no different. I think he said Ray J actually asked to come over here. And so I went over there, you know, just for entertainment purposes. And I wasn't disappointed. Cam, for some reason, is very stuck on sexuality. Now, he do be walking around with these hot pants on and his thicker thighs out, but it's giving a little bit of Dean the Great tease. And I don't see him over here like leaning in on like Adrian Bronner was, but I feel like Cam is far too curious about the gay community. And Ray J is a troll. So we don't know what Ray J does over there in that house once he gets tipsy, but let y'all listen in a little, and you might get a little insight into what Ray J and Cam, you know, are into. I think that's so rude, always asking people, are they gay? I feel like he has the homosexual question comes up almost every single time he has a man on his panel, on his show. Let's say this time Ray J's saying everything. Let's see what Ray J's saying over here.
And looking back, I was just like, yo, he's my friend.
Okay.
And then so we started tussling. He choked me. I choked him. He got off. I pushed him into the stove. He fell back into the stove, realized it. And then he pushed me into the door, into the table, over the table, down into the stairs. And I was down. And that was it. And I couldn't get back up. My back still hurts today.
For the record.
Now, he's asking him about what happened with him and Sammy. Apparently, him and Sammy, the singer Sammy, got into it online. And Ray J was saying weird stuff like, let me lay you down. You know, he was just being inappropriate in a way, trolling like Ray J does. But it had Cam so interested that he had to get into the real question.
Are you gay?
You asked me that last time.
And I just, because
it's not okay.
Last time wasn't this time. But when you say I'm gonna knock you out and put you in my bed,
that means I was gonna sleep him and then put him in the bed with me.
That's very suspect choice of words, brother. That's what I'm at. I don't either way.
So I listen
we
to like
accept you, bro.
So I listen to like Biggie Smalls. You like Biggie? Are you a fan of Biggie?
Can you just answer my question?
I'm giving you an analogy to it. There's something to it.
Can you answer yes or no and then go into that?
Shout out to the agency.
Yes.
What does it matter if I'm gay or not?
It doesn't matter.
Like,
I just asking a question.
It's that's I mean, okay.
Do you feel attacked?
I'm with Ray J. What does it matter if he's gay or not? You know, which I don't think he is, but you know, all niggas are gay. So, you know, they like to try things. You know what I mean? American, what was that movie where the boy stick his thing in the apple pie? Like they like to try things and then say pause and no homo. And Ray J says that a lot. So we're going to absolutely get into the things that he may or may not try. Go ahead, Ray J.
Absolutely no. I love this.
Okay.
This is actually my favorite moment of the interview. I promise you. When you're so people like people. When they leave here, we're all together. When you leave and it's done and it's a wrap for the day, everybody's gonna do something. Everybody's gonna go to their prospective places. Some people are gonna go home, and I hate to say this, but it's just gonna be grimy, but I'm sure there's people that go home, they got a dog. It's their favorite dog. They stop by the store, grab some peanut butter, right? Go home, excited to see their dog. They put a bunch of peanut butter on their feet till the dog can lick it off. Some people even go further to watch TV on all fours, slap a little bit of peanut butter in the crack and enjoy themselves. And the dog is having a good time, right? I don't know what that is. It's none of my business.
Have you ever did that?
Have I ever had a dog lick my ass and peanut butter in it? No.
Okay.
But I'm familiar with it.
Okay. So Willie Ray.
I'm familiar with it because I caught somebody doing it.
Willie Ray.
He's familiar with it because he caught somebody doing it. I cannot. I feel like I said, I think Ray J is a troll. I feel like that's what you get, Cam, because what he said, he asked him that more than once. I don't understand, you know, what is the point of your question? Cam is taking surveys for his own purposes. Seems like it, because of all the things you could ask Ray J, you know, and I hate that I'm entertained by it. And I'm a Capricorn and Ray J is a Capricorn. So I feel like I understand a little bit like how his mind works to some extent. And so, boy, you want to ask me about being gay, you know what I'm saying? Which, like I said, I don't think he is, but that story was far too much. I feel like, first of all, he has witnessed it. And does he have a dog? I hope not. And I think there are a lot of people that do weird shit like that. So, you know, well, he was over there with Diddy. I don't know, two Negroes sitting with their legs crossed and ankles showing, debating about who's homosexual. It's hilarious. It looks like a skit. It felt like a skit. I promise you. Like, just let it play in the background. You'll be dying laughing. Well, and not only that, like, Ray J has this skill of saying enough real things in between all of that foolishness, because the way he trolled Cam Newton, you know, Cam Newton is no match for Ray J. That's for sure. It's good. And I think Cam went in there thinking he was the smarter of the two. How could he? Oh, Ray J seen too much. He has. I feel like he absolutely has, based on the people he's been around. And I hope he doesn't have a dog because I'm concerned about that too. There's more. And Ray J, like, because he's Brandy's brother, has been exposed to, you know, some of the greatest entertainers in a lifetime. So let's see. Okay, this is funny. He said Mario put a spell on him.
Can sing.
Let's go back.
How many? We had Mario on Funky Friday last fall.
Yeah.
All right. Mario talked
Mario
about
put a
which
spell on him.
singers he thought could sing and who couldn't. He said you can sing.
I don't care what he said. He put a spell on me.
Are you not cool with Mario?
Absolutely not.
You said absolutely not.
Absolutely not. He put a spell on me.
What was the spell?
He said he's gonna pray for me to go to hell or something. He's gonna put the demons on me or something. It was in my DM. He said he's gonna pray to the devil or something to make sure that I don't make it and I get sick and then I fail, all this shit. And then it all started happening.
But y'all were cool at one point.
Cordial.
Okay.
See, there's colleagues of mine. We're all in the same gang, but just because we either like each other's music or see each other out or work with each other here or there, it doesn't mean we're on the same team.
Okay.
You know, but he put a spell, he tried to put a spell on me. And I think a lot of this shit has to do with Mario's spell. All the shit that I'm going through.
Well, I haven't talked to him since.
He blocked me.
He blocked you?
Yeah. He tried to make it seem like it was AI. When I reposted all the devil shit he was saying about me, he wanted to say, oh, AI is, you using AI because you deleted the message. Don't do that. You sent those to me, Mario. And I just want artists to stand on what they do. We all fuck up. We all say crazy shit. Artists that don't have a backbone, they tend to try to find a way to say it was a fake note or it was a fake post. You used AI, all this stuff because they just scared to face themselves.
We had Mario.
Mario put a spell on Ray J.
Could we talk about you being on stage and was that real? Did you ever meet Michael Jackson?
Absolutely.
How was that?
So I hung out with Mike plenty of times. Shout out to Rodney Jerkins for introducing us. Brandy fainted when she saw him. He looked and was like, "That's so sweet." We talked for hours. We went to Neverland. Michael comes out with a little man holding him like a baby. He was like 85 years old or 65 or something at the time. Stop, Rodney. Hold on. I gotta go get my guest. Comes back in with a 75-year-old man. If you had him in your arms and you got out at the liquor store and you wanted to get some booze, they're not gonna ID him, even though he looks like a baby. That's how eccentric Michael was.
Did you ever meet Michael Jackson?
Absolutely.
How was that?
So I hung out with Mike plenty of times.
So I believe it. Why do I believe it? He said he was over my High Vibe. This definitely, like, you definitely can't take it seriously because Ray J is so unserious. And Cam is sitting up there trying to be serious, asking him these questions that he's absolutely like, he's there to play. He's playing a game. Michael Jackson came out with a little man, carrying a little man. And I believe it. I believe Michael did those types of things. But Ray J is so crazy. It's hard to tell, like, are you for real? Is that for real? Do you believe that about Michael Jackson? I do, because I think he was probably a kid and he met Michael because of Brandy. And he talks about that. Like, he talks a lot about, Cam was asking a lot of questions about Brandy, which I was like, this is Ray J's interview, but he cleared up a lot of things about he not being able to go to her Hollywood star that she got on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I think that's unfortunate. It's sad that Ray J is in such a place that he couldn't experience that with his sister. But, you know, he over here doing this wild stuff. And so there's that. What'd you say? Ray J has mental health issues and they need to be giving him treatment instead of allowing him to be out exposed for entertainment. I don't think there's any such thing as allow. Like, who's supposed to control it? Ray J is in control of no one but Ray J. Period. Yeah, so I don't know whose permission does he need to do anything. Ray J telling this story without laughing. He was telling that Kardashian story without laughing too. I feel like Michael absolutely had an old man, little person, and he was, carried him in the room. I just could see it happening. You said Cam was trying to stir the pot. There was no stirring. Cam is, no match for Ray J. He was trying to stir. Ray J was keeping it cool, smoking cigarettes, standing up, adjusting himself. This one, though, I felt was like one of the most interesting because he was talking about the Kardashians.
So Kim and Khloe was my sister's assistants. They stole $600,000 to $800,000 off my mom's credit card and Brandy's credit card.
To do what?
Kim was doing closets. They didn't have any money. All that's a lie. They worked for Brandy. Brandy said, go shopping for me. They swiped the card and get Brandy 3 or 4 Jimmy Choo shoes or whatever, or clothes, whatever. And then they'll get themselves like 4 or 5 shoes too. Over and over for months and months and months until they ran up to like almost $1 million. Then my mom gave them the card. My mom don't spend money. My mom is very frugal. They spent like 100 bands on her card running it up. They thought my mom spent like Brandy spent and stole all their money, bro. They got caught. They had to pay it back. It's in court. They had to pay it back. It's just Brandy is a good person, and I guess she was in a situation where she couldn't speak on it, so they got away with it. They paid the money back, but they paid majority. I don't know. They got caught. It's court documents. You stole almost $1 million from my family. At the same time, you pointed the finger at me and said, "I'm the bad guy. You did this to us." A family with morals and values, and bitch, suck my dick. Oh, my bad. You already did that.
Oh my God. Not you already did that. Okay.
Did you ever meet?
Just a little bit more.
We
about
had
the
Mario.
Kardashians. I feel
How many
like they
sex
went
tapes
on.
exist?
3.
How many did the public see?
I think 1.
And you're saying Kris Jenner was a part of all 3 in some capacity, no, with knowing that this was happening.
She made us do it. She made us shoot them, bro. She watched them. I had the first one that was long time ago. She made us do more, bro. She made us do more, and she watched us, and she watched it.
So Kris Jenner was in the room while you were having sex with Kim?
No.
Okay, so
because then at that point I was young and naive. So when she sent us to Santa Barbara to do it, at that point I was like, it's just weird, and I hate to say it because I was super dumb and I was super naive and I was young. I was like, man, I think I'm gonna fuck her mama too, because why does she want us to keep doing, as a young man, I'm like 22 or 20, I'm like, I think that they wanna, it's awkward. I can get Joe Francis on the phone. He's the one that connected everybody. Girls Gone Wild. I didn't know him before Kris introduced us to all of them.
Kris Jenner orchestrated the whole sex tape thing.
1,000%.
Say less.
1,000%.
Do you think this happens because the Kardashians saw the success of Paris Hilton's sex tape?
That was the strategy. That's my strategy. That's what I told her how it was gonna work. If you do this now, it's gonna pop for you. That's me being a strategic marketer. I seen the vision.
A sex tape though?
So Paris and Kim are best friends. She's getting pub. She already has an old one. Paris is killing it. Drop it now. Whether your relationship or whatever is over, it doesn't matter. You can take over. Right then, it's out of my hands. My mom's gonna get involved. She has it from here. Done.
How many sex tapes exist?
I believe him 100%. I believe him. That's the thing. Like I was saying, when you're sitting here watching this interview, so much of it is just Ray J, and his clownery. And then there's parts of it where you're like, oh yeah, this happened. So his issue is, let's see, his family can have rights over him, even though he's still an adult, because he has, he's a danger to himself and possibly others. Sonya ain't gonna do that. She not gonna do that to her boy. She'll just do, her part to protect him. The whole thing with the Kardashians is they try to act like Ray J released this tape, and that's not what happened. And he found the truth, and they got upset. And so, they orchestrated this whole thing. Like the contracts and things were signed with, an actual, I think it was a company that, produced porn movies. But anyway, Joe Francis, the Kardashians definitely were friends with Joe Francis and introduced him to them. They all signed the paperwork, but then the Kardashians went and sold the story on their show as if, you remember Kim crying about how, she, was a victim in this whole situation. Whole time, Kris Jenner went and had them make a couple more so they could produce the damn thing and, set her up to be successful. He did talk about the fact that he thought Kim wasn't necessarily, she was also a victim. And the way he tells that story about, how that whole thing happened, he just wants them to not keep using that narrative. You know what I'm saying? And that makes sense. They're using him, instead of saying what it really was. And they keep putting it on a public platform. He talks about how the whole thing played out with Kanye because it came up again where Kanye, and this is on the show. They keep putting the stuff on the show. So, they're tied up in court. He talks about that too, like how he has to spend all this money on lawyers just to fight them. And they want to keep it going because they don't want to tell the truth. So that case is still pending, and we'll see how that turns out. You said you would like to do you'd like Ray J to interview Jaguar, right? You got a lot of patience. You might need a cocktail in order to keep up with that one. His story has never changed about the Kardashians. I'm telling you, as much as Ray J is a fool, and then there's a lot of, I feel like maybe that's why I was so entertained by it, because there's a lot of Ray J is a fool and Ray J is telling the truth. You said the timeline with Paris tape, then Kim is all, it does make sense. Now, who was he down there? Lotus, I know you've seen it. He said over at Brandy's event, he said there was somebody over there that was smashing Princess. He starts singing a song and I couldn't remember, I was like, who sings that song? He sings the song out loud so you can obviously tell who it is, but he's saying he won't say who it is. And now I can't remember the song, but listen, it's definitely worth, if you're looking for something to take your mind off of the foolishness that's going on in this world right now. Yeah, Ray J did not disappoint. Yeah, he's got a lot of issues. He was very flim-flamsy though about his heart condition and the bleeding eyes. That story, yeah, he was full of shit trying to explain that publicity stunt. Yeah, so your boy Ray J, he's toxic as ever, but I definitely believe that the story about the Kardashians, and they're at it again. Kim is out here with paparazzi, playing paparazzi photos with her and Lewis Hamilton. That's her next, black man on the list. And then there was this long conversation about Cam, sit up there saying how, like, Chloe, I've never met her. I love her to death. And Ray J make him look like a daggone fool. Which, I mean, probably not that hard to do. You didn't catch it, though. It was, he was mad about it. He was mad about this person being there. And yeah, if you listen to it, though, if you go back to that part, you'll know who it is. I just was like, I know that song. He talking about it was gospel. It's not a gospel song, but I know that song, so I'm actually gonna look it up. And yeah, maybe I'll post it on my story. Anyway, enough about Ray J. We gonna wrap it up. We got a few things, just two more things I want to share with y'all before I pop out of here. Let's see. We're not gonna end on the toxic. We're gonna end on, something to make some damn sense. Now, how do you feel? What's your opinion on this? That a lot of times when we're on the internet, we see Karens crashing out on Black folks. They post these videos and they be like, look at this lady, she's crashing out. She don't mind her own business. What do you think about this lady? Is she wrong or are they wrong?
I rented car seats from you for my babies, and they do not function. And you reek of marijuana, so I don't think I'm the one who needs to chill out more. I think you're fully fucking chill. You're risking my children's life, and you can call me a Karen and call me fucking whatever, but do not tell me to fucking calm down, because I relied on your company for my children's well-being, and you fucking failed.
Okay. Have a blessing.
God bless you and your soul.
God bless you and your soul. Was he down there? I feel like, okay, let me read it. A mom at the Atlanta airport was not playing when she realized the rented car seats for her babies allegedly weren't working properly. Is she justified in her crash out? I feel like them airport jobs where he down there, he probably did smell like weed. I'm not judging this man. I don't know if he smoked weed or not. I do know that I feel like I would be pissed off if the car seats aren't working. That's a big deal. And they're like, yeah, I get it. It's okay. She talked about Ray J. He was asking about, would you smash one of the Kardashians? He said Michael B. Jordan would it. Yeah, he was clear on that. What do you think? Is this lady in the right? Like, I mean, she's a little girl, little quirky lady. So her crash out is entertaining. God bless you and your soul. I don't know. I would be pissed off. And I feel like, there wasn't enough urgency to make me, feel comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you handle that? Because car seats are a big deal. So if I'm renting a car seat, to while I'm on my vacation or whatever, obviously she's at the rental car place and the shit don't work. You know what I'm saying? To my kids, I'm throwing the brakes and the children is flying out the damn car seat. I feel like he should have just been a little bit more, his customer service skills are lacking. I'm going to go ahead and say that's how I feel about that. I don't think everybody that's having a crash out is necessarily a Karen. Let's see what the comments say. Shayna _MCD, my homie right there. First comment, she's justified. Yep, I think so. Oh, look at Ashante over there from Ready to Love Detroit. She said, very effing valid. See, the people, young man, the people over here in the comments think you on bullshit. This lady's crashed out is justified. Yeah, I'm with her on this one. She handled it better than me, not being nonchalant about the car seat. Yes, it was the whole attitude. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes when people are, being low key, they're also being passive aggressive. I feel like his attitude was passive aggressive. Like, why are you not like being more apologetic to this lady? I feel like she would have felt very different. Obviously, he's not responsible for the car seat. He didn't make the car seat. He didn't purchase the car seat. That part is not his problem. But you're a customer service agent and she has a valid complaint and your nonchalant attitude. How about you say she got a legit complaint? I think so. I think, we be so quick to pull out a camera. And I feel like what they thought was going to happen is people was going to be like, look at this Karen. No, you over there playing in her face. File that claim. Young man, the people said that you are full of it and you probably did smell like weed because I feel like those are the kind of jobs where you just go somewhere. Let me go sit in my car for a minute and come back over here. So she said he was 100% the damn chill. He hasn't had enough chill. And you know how people are. Look at him. Yeah, okay. They just standing there looking at her like she's crazy. She has every right to be pissed. Everybody's on her side. So, yeah, I'm glad to see that. Don't just post no videos and try to rage bait people. You know what I'm saying? So you can be like, look at this Karen. She's not a Karen. She mad. Y'all playing with kids in the car seat and things. I think that's lame. Let me see what you say, Lotus. You said you think it's misplaced anger. She should have wrote an email to corporate and then get full refund. She probably did do that, but I feel like, we're seeing the crash out part. That's what they don't do. They don't show you. I don't think she probably walked up there with some energy, not towards him. But I think what happened is he playing in her face, trying to, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, be all nonchalant and, act like this issue is not an important issue. And so she's snapping and they're recording her because the purpose is to make her seem like, the crash out Karen. I don't think that's what's happening here, though. I think he, like I said, his energy is passive aggressive, even though he's like very low key. I understand you, ma'am. And then again, y'all get her to this point before you start filming. Y'all sitting around mad because everybody seems to be sitting down chilling, relaxing after they smoke break. And nobody has got any energy to come try to, make this lady feel better about what happened. She needs the car seat now. And if it's a traffic stop or an accident, her kids are at risk. Exactly. And y'all acting like, it's part of your job. I'm sure there's other car seats. I feel like I said, don't rage bait us with this foolishness. We got enough going on. We started the top of the show with discussing how we need to change the mindset of the young women, that we're raising and let them know that there is no such thing as Prince Charming and maybe let them know some of the signs of an ain't shit nigga. So this lady, I feel like she's my hero of the day. Can we have a hero of the day? I just made that up. She's my hero of the day. So this lady is schooling her daughter on these streets.
And when I saw this, I was like, a mother teaches her daughter how to avoid making bad decisions with men. Now, was she capping or keeping it a milli? Y'all get eyes on this.
Simple. He don't like you. He don't call you. He don't like you. He don't keep his word. He don't like you. He's inconsistent. He has someone else. He only calls you when he wants something. He's using you. He starts random arguments. He's cheating on you. He's not investing in you. You're not worth the investment. Never met his family. You're not the one. Been with your guy 5+ years. No ring. No marriage. He's still searching. You're a placeholder. Men are not complicated. They're very easy to know. Men don't talk with their words. They talk with their actions.
Okay, she did give her some good pointers. What do y'all think? And I think that everyone should watch actions because words is whatever for females and guys. That's how I see it. As I always say, y'all let me know down in the comments below. Man, when I saw this, I was like, a mother teaches her daughter how to avoid making bad decisions with men. Now, was she capping or keeping it a milli? Y'all get eyes on this.
Simple. He don't like you. He don't call you. He don't like you. He don't keep his word. He don't like you. He's inconsistent. He has someone else. He only calls you when he wants something. He's using you. He starts random arguments. He's cheating on you. He's not investing in you. You're not worth the investment. Never met his family. You're not the one. Been with your guy 5+ years. No ring. No marriage. He's still searching. You're a placeholder. Men are not complicated. They're very easy to know. Men don't talk with their words. They talk with their actions.
Okay, she did give her some good pointers. What do you?
I think we should play this. You know how when you go to school and they play the Pledge of Allegiance? Yes, that was shaded in the comments on the car seat video. You know how they you go to school and they do the Pledge of Allegiance? I think this should be the morning mom's Pledge of Allegiance. Not the Pledge of Allegiance. The morning moms. What can we call it? Words of wisdom for you leave the house in the morning. So while your daughter is sitting, at the kitchen counter eating her, Fruit Loops before she run out the door, go ahead and give her this speech right quick so she doesn't go into the world with the mindset of somebody coming to sweep her off her feet. That's just one of the days of the week. We're going to start there. That's Monday's words of wisdom from the moms. And then, we could work our way through there. hero of the day, or how about a task of the day? Hot take of the day. Hot take of the day. I like that. I like the hot take of the day. Ooh, now I'm gonna have to write that down and incorporate it into what it is I'm doing over here. But that's the hot take of the day. Share it with your daughters. Share it with your nieces. Share it with your nephews so they know how to operate. Like if we want the men to be better, they need to be, they need their own pledge of the morning. So, we could flip it, you know what I'm saying? So they know that, if this is what you want, this is how you gonna have to behave. Your actions are gonna have to speak louder than your words, So there, I think we'll end there. Have a good weekend, y'all. It was fun. I'm going to go on over here and, get into the things that I got to get into today, y'all. So, yeah, enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I will see you on Monday, 10:15. That's when we start the coffee talk. Bye, y'all.